I bought this BMW M140i for only £2,500, making it what I believe to be the cheapest M140i in the entire country. The car had damage on the front and also all down the passenger side, and I had to buy this car completely blind just through a FaceTime call, so I took a big risk buying this car, and it did have a previous repair on the passenger rear quarter, which had previously been bodged, so we had to replace the full side panel on the car. And in the last video, we finished off just by removing all of the damage. So we stripped the interior and we got all of this side cut off the car. In today's video, we're going to install a complete new side onto the car. We're going to fix all of this damage to the front of the car. We're going to get the full car painted, and we're even going to do some modifications to it. So you can see that I've got the slam panel removed off of the car because the other one that I had put on was a little bit bent. So I've went and got this new one. So I just need to get that put on now. There's these radiators which sit on sort of brackets on the side of the slam panel here. So I need to attach the brackets to this part of the slam panel for the radiators to sit into. You need to do that on both sides. The radiator is missing on this side as well, so I need to install that. So we're going to do that as well. You can see the radiator bracket just slides in from the side, and there's two T30 bolts on the top and also two more at the bottom, and then there's just sort of a plastic shroud which attaches to this. Then I got Connor to hold up the slam panel whilst I tightened it in place. That's just so it's not sitting far down, and then I could just tighten up the bolts on the top as well. There was these plastic inserts which hold the rad pack in place too, and they also have a little plastic cover which goes on top of them. Whilst I was doing all of this, they were working away, drilling and chiseling off this side panel from the cut which we bought. You can see the full side section needs to be drilled out. There's hundreds of spot welds, so it was a lot of work to do this, but finally they got it free, and you can see we're just sizing it onto the side of the car here. And before we weld anything, what we wanted to do was make sure that everything actually lines up. And I did also need to remove the headliner out of the car just for when we're welding, just to make sure that it doesn't catch on fire. So what we did was we just clamped the side panel onto the car in loads of different places, and this was so that we could hang on the doors. So you can see we put on the rear door and the front door. This was just to make sure that everything closes properly and lines up well enough to where we're happy with welding it in place. We did also decide to try and fit everything else on the car just to be triple, quadruple sure that everything is actually going to line up, so that we put the wing on, the bonnet on, the rear bumper on, obviously for the gap with the quarter, and the rear light. We did also test the rear light in the hole, and it was fine as well. And you might notice here on the floor, we do have an M2 front bumper to go on the car. We didn't put the bumper on because everything else was lining up well enough to where you know that the bumper is going to be all right. And we did also get a GTS style vented bonnet, which looks really cool. You can see it's really raised in the middle. It looks a lot better than a normal one. But now that we're happy with how everything lines up, we need to take everything back off the car. So the doors off, the wings off, bumper off, and everything off, so that we can pull this side panel back off the car, because we do have this piece on the donor section which we need to weld on the inside. If you remember in the last video, this was really badly damaged from a previous repair that was done, and they never replaced this section. So you can actually see here, once I've got it off the car side by side, the difference between the one that was on the car and the new one. It was really, really bad.
That was bad. How does it look worse? That. That is a big difference. It's because the fuel arrived through that hole. And it's dirty as well. Like a glove.
So now we just clamp this piece in place where it was meant to be, and then you can start welding all of that back up. There wasn't too many spot welds for this one, so it didn't take too long. And you can see there, that's it all welded up in place. So now with that piece on, they got the side panel back on, and you can see everything lines up as it should. So they've got everything clamped on now, and they're just going to go around and weld all of these different spot weld holes that you can see here. Once everything's welded, what they're going to start to do is go around all of the welds and just grind down the face of them so that everything's flat with the panel as it should be. So you can see here, that's what they're doing, using a belt sander to just grind everything down. So all of that side is now welded in, and you can see all of the welds are all cleaned up around all of the edges. In the last clip, you would have seen that we'd cleaned up all the welds on the side panel, and Connor's came here since I've been gone, and they've fitted on the doors. You can see both the doors are fitted on, and they open and close perfectly fine, because obviously you want to check with the rubbers that everything actually fits But now that the doors are on, we have the full interior to fit up. But before I do that, there is a few things that I want to do first. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see the car like this with both the doors on. Like, it's been a stripped car in the corner of my garage for like a month or two now because they've just not really had the time to come up and do it. But now that it's done, and they've done all the welding, it's really not far away now. Once I fit the interior up, we're going to be flying with it. So let's not waste any time and let's just get the rest of this car put back together. Quickly before we do the interior, I did have to sort out both the headlights for the car. So they were both damaged in the accident. So what I did was I bought one good headlight and I did buy another broken headlight. But when I was swapping over both the modules on the headlights, I noticed that some of them were actually damaged. This module is destroyed from corrosion, so I'm gonna have to get a new set of these. These are the daytime running lights. This is a headlight which I bought for the 140i, but it had a cracked lens. You can see that I've removed the lens. I forgot to record removing it, but I've got the new one here and I've swapped over the trims which sit inside the lens, you can see. So I've put all the new butyl tape in the gap. So what I'm going to do now is just heat all that up. We're going to put the lens onto the light, and then I'm also going to put all of the staples back in to hold the lens in place with the headlight casing. I just use a blowtorch to heat up the butyl tape, which makes it become tacky, and then once it's tacky you can just push the lens into place. And then I did go around all of the edge and put the staples in, so that makes sure that the lens never comes back off at all. The first thing to do on the inside of the car was to just hoover up all the dirt that was in there, because there's loads of metal shavings and everything from the welding and whatnot. And once that was done, the first thing to go in was the carpets. So I had to move the gear selector and all that stuff out of the way so the carpets could go in, and then all the wiring for that goes on top of the carpets. And whilst I was doing that, they started to put in the rear seat bench and the rear seats. The next thing for me to tackle was the dashboard, so I could start to get the dash in and all the trims that go into the dash. I've done BMW dashes plenty of times, so it wasn't too difficult to do this. It didn't really take too long either. All of the little plastic trims and the footwells as well, and the speaker covers over the carpets all had to go back in, and obviously the center console was next after the dashboard was in. I did also have to replace the driver's side curtain airbag because that had blown, and it's actually riveted in, so you've got to drill the old rivets out, and you can see here I'm just squeezing the rivet gun to install the new rivets for that, and then it's just held in by a lot of push clips which just push into place. Once the seats and everything are back in, I'm just going around giving it another hoover, and then the final things to go in are the pillar trims, the door seals. There was also all of these little kick plates too, which run down the sides. And then once those were in, the last thing was the headliner. So get the headliner in, some visors in, and all the handles. Now that all of the interior is back in the car, it's time to do a diagnostic on the car, because there's no point doing one when everything's out of the inside, because you have so many fault codes for everything being unplugged. And what we're going to use is this little OBD11 device. Now this does offer quite in-depth dealer level diagnostic for BMW, VAG Group, and also Ford vehicles, and it's really easy to use. All you've got to do is plug it into your OBD port and connect to your phone. I do really often get asked the question what diagnostic machine I personally use, and I actually used OBD11 years ago when I was first starting out. It's really user friendly for beginners, and it lets you do so many things like one-click apps which let you unlock hidden features on your car. So things like seatbelt chimes, we'll go through it now. And it also has a very in-depth used car check, which goes through thorough mileage checks to make sure there's not been any mileage tampering on your vehicle, which is really important when you're buying a new car. I've just rescanned the car for the fault codes, and these are the ones which have came back. Exhaust flap activation, short circuit to ground, so the exhaust flap wiring might be damaged somewhere. And then this is the one I'm mainly worried about, combustion control. Basically, it says that the car has a rough running idle, so when the car is stationary idling, it's running a bit rough, which it is. And I think that's to do with this fuel pump, because when I bought this car, this was in the boot. And my theory is that the previous owner has upgraded the fuel pump and they haven't had it coded in, like mapped in. So what I'm going to do is try to swap the fuel pump back over to this one and see if that solves my problem. But we can actually go on here and we can click on causes, and it'll give us things to check for, and repair plan will give you instructions on how to actually repair each fault, which is very, very useful. It literally gives you a guide on how to solve any problem. Now, if we come into this section and we click apps, you can code in and code out different things on the car. But things like this, start, stop, disable. I know the start, stop is really, really annoying for some people, so you can actually disable that on here. If you'd like to try OBD11 for yourself, I'll leave my code on the screen and the link will be at the very top of the description. And when you're selecting your plan, I would recommend getting the Ultimate plan. It just basically gives you full access to everything, like the coding options and the customizations and all that stuff. The fuel pump is located underneath this engine cover, and it is right at the back here. So what I need to do is I'm probably gonna have to take this out of the way, and then I'm just gonna try remove this and we'll try swap it over to the old one. So this is the one that I removed from the car, and this is the one that was in the boot. This one definitely does look different. So I'm not sure. This doesn't have a BMW part number on it either, but this one does. So I'm sure this is what's causing that issue. I've swapped the fuel pump out now, so I'm going to run the car. I'm going to see if it's actually running any better. Hopefully it is. I think it probably was that. Let's see. Yep, it's definitely running better now. Huh. Who does that? Why would someone upgrade the fuel pump and not map it in? That is beyond me. Well, I guess I've got an upgraded fuel pump if anyone wants it. That's definitely running much, much better now. Right, so you can see that we've chucked all the panels on the front of the car as well, and the panel gaps aren't too bad. Obviously, we've not worked on them at all, but literally just throwing them on, and that's sort of how things are sitting, so that's pretty good. It needs to go to the body shop now to get the full side painted. I do have a set of alloys for it. I've got both the headlights, but we do need a few other parts like a side skirt, wing mirror, and this door that I bought is actually damaged, unfortunately, you can see there. But the door gaps are pretty even, you can see there, and also there, they are pretty good. Still need to do a little bit of seam sealer and stuff, but yeah, we've made a lot of progress on the interior. We had the car transported down to Connor's garage, aka the body shop, where he's going to paint the entire car. So you can see he's just masking out all the windows. We've removed all of the lights and all of the handles so he can paint the full car, and here it is completely painted, and we just need to fit everything back onto the car. So the bumpers, the doors, the handles, the headlights, arch liners, all of that stuff needs to go back on now. What I'm doing here is just plugging the headlights in before I put the bumper on, just to make sure that everything does actually work. And you can see that we did go for the yellow DRLs, because if you remember before, the DRL modules were actually broken, so I took this opportunity to change them to yellow. But you can see everything on the headlights on both sides were working, indicators, high beams, DRLs. So that was a go ahead to put the bumper on.
And you can see he's painted the side and all the inside of the doors and everything how it should be, and it's looking really good. That light fits how it should as well.
He has actually painted the whole car, so the entire car has had a repaint, and you can see what the M2 bumper and the vented bonnet looks like now. It looks really, really good. If you remember, this is the side that was painted, so it is looking pretty good now, and everything lines up really good as well. So what we need to do now is just go through everything else that it needs doing. We've not lined up any of the front end yet, so ignore the panel gaps for now, but we do have a few things on the list. The driver's side suspension corner that we replaced, I haven't fitted the lowering spring on it, so I need to change the spring over. I need to put the door card on the front passenger door, and then it's just like last niggling bits like arch liners, washer jet covers, because this car doesn't have washer jets, so they'll just be covered. Side skirt, arch liners. So we're just going to get all of that done now, and then it should be ready for a wheel alignment and its first drive. Oh, one last thing as well, it does need a wing mirror, and I need to put the handle back in that door. And also this trim which sits through there, I need to put that in, because obviously we removed that when we replaced the full side on the car. First thing that I wanted to attack was changing this spring because I wanted to get the car for a four-wheel alignment as soon as humanly possible. So what I'm doing here is just removing all the top mount bolt, and I actually just take the center bolt out from the shocker and let that drop down. And if you loosen the suspension arms, you can just drop it down and slide the spring out the side like this. You don't have to take the shocker out of the car.
Then the shocker pops down. You can just slide the spring off. You can slide your new one on, and then lean that back under there, jack it up with a jack so it goes through the middle of the top mount, and put the bolt back in the top. So much easier.
Both of the doors on the driver's side had to be fully fitted up because we had to completely strip both doors down to paint the inside and out. I did also clip on the 140i side sills, and then just removing the wheels here to put the rear arch liner in. There was a few under trays which needed to go in the car. I've ordered those now, so I'll get those fitted ASAP. But then the wing mirror on the front driver's door needed to be replaced because this was damaged in the accident, and then that just leaves the door card to go on the front door. And then I'm actually going to remove all of the rest of the wheels off of the car because we've got some nice upgraded alloys to go on. These are the CS style in silver. The car did previously have wheel spacers on all four corners as well, and they were all seized on, so we had to use a bit of heat to remove those. But once we got those off, we could finally get the wheels on. At this point, I did also take the car for a four-wheel alignment, but to do that, I need coolant in the car, so I'm just filling up all the coolant here to get it all bled through the system. And then the last thing to do after this was to put all the arch liners in. So you can see I'm just putting in the arch liners. I did have to get these front halves brand new from BMW. I've never had to buy arch liners brand new from BMW before, so that was a first. I couldn't actually find any secondhand online, which was really surprising.
The car looks so much better now with these wheels on the car. It's actually made such a big difference because the wheels I had on before were just spares that I had lying around from another car just to have the car moving around. And the last few things we've got to do is we've got to fit parking sensors in the front. We need to do all the panel gaps, and then on this side I need to fit on the brackets for the side skirts, which I have here. There's a few of them. And then I need to also fit this under tray underneath the car, and then we can put the side skirt on. So we're going to do that now, and then it should be ready really for its first drive. There is a couple little niggly things that I need to do, like this trim that I've got for this door isn't gloss black, and you can see that one is. Same with this here, so I'm going to have to get those and swap those out. But for now, it's almost done.
One of the last things to do was to clip all these side skirt brackets on for the side skirt, and they actually go in and slide to the left. So if you ever wanted to remove these, you need to slide them to the right. So then there's the side skirt all painted, which will just clip on now, and there's a few bolts on the underneath as well as that under tray to go on finally.
Right, so that is the car fully done. You can see it looks mint now, but I'll quickly give you a little walk around of the entire car. That wasn't the side that was damaged, it was this side. So you can see on this side everything lines up perfectly fine now, which is great. It was actually really badly damaged this in the first place. So the fact that it looks this good now is really good. There's only two last things we need to sort. This thing here is like plasticky instead of gloss black, so I need to get a new one of them and change it out. And the roof strip which runs across the roof, it's supposed to be painted in the colour of the car, and the one I had was grey. So Connor's just going to paint that and then we can put that in. But other than that, it's literally all done, and all the doors open and close perfectly fine. It couldn't really be better. We did put this GTS bonnet on it as well, which is really cool. It's really lifted in the middle. I think it looks a lot more aggressive. And then the M2 front bumper as well. I'm personally not a massive fan. I prefer the original one, but most people prefer the M2 bumper, I think, so I thought I'd just put it on. And the yellow DRLs as well, it looks really good. And this car is actually stage 2 as well, I've not mentioned, and I just had a 4-wheel alignment done, and it drives perfectly fine, and we've no longer got any engine lights or anything because I sorted all of the errors that it had. I am going to be raffling this car as well for £2.50, so if you want a chance to win it, the link will be in the description. Like I said, it's stage 2, so it should be around 450 brake horsepower, and you can hear it's very loud. It does sound mint, this car. These B58 engines sound probably the best out of any BMW, I think. I'll insert some sound clips, but now we'll take it on a little drive so you can see what it sounds like. It's a very fun but dangerous car to drive, this, I think. It does also have a ghost immobilizer, so if I try putting this into gear now, you'll hear that it just cuts straight out. So it does have that extra security because these cars are quite prone to getting stolen, so at least you have that peace of mind.